book of Zechariah, chapter 9, and verse 6, and it reads, "And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod, and I will cut off the pride of the Philistines." Before I go any further, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, Bahashim Rakakwedash. Double honors unto the elders and the apostles at GMS Great Millstone, who have taught me this truth through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shai, and who do her well today. And a sincere peace, love, blessing, salutations unto all those of you hopeful, faithful, potential members of the elect out there doing the best to make the calling of your election sure. All right. And as you see here, all right, Zechariah 9 and 6, as we just read, it says a bastard, man. Let's see what that word bastard means. It says bastard, child of incest, illegitimate child. All right, down here in the definitions, it goes into alien, mongrel, all right, born of a Jewish father or a heathen mother, but that's not relevant. So the point is, man, and is this child, right? It's a heathen. It's an illegitimate child. This ain't the true people, man. There's a alien dwelling in Ashdod. All right. Oh, Slovakia. All right. There's an alien dwelling in Ashdod, man. There's an alien dwelling in the land of Israel. You see, people who do not belong there are living there. And in fact, we could go ahead and go to prophecy as well, or more prophecy, I suppose. Book of Luke, chapter the 24th chapter and the 24th verse, if I'm not mistaken, and it reads, "Yep, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations." This is what would befall upon the children of Israel, man. They would be led captive into all nations, and what would happen to them? They would gather together. The Americans would bring them back to their land. The heathens would bring them back. The Gentiles would bring them back. What would take place, man? It says, "And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles." Hey, a bastard would be trodden it down, man. A bastard would be living there. In other words, the Gentiles would be living there. It says, "Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled." So this would take place. The bastard will continue being there until what? The time of the Gentiles is fulfilled. So until the time of prophecy is ended. In fact, we could go ahead and precept that to the book of Daniel. All right, chapter 7. And just go ahead and go straight to the point. Verse 7, if I'm not mistaken. No, verse 9. It says, "And I beheld till the thrones were cast down." And the thrones it's referring to are the thrones of the heathens, man. All right? The thrones of the heathens were cast down. When you go into these prior verses, all right, it goes into all the different ions, the ages, the heathens that would bear rule on this earth, the heathens that would have a throne for a time, man. All right, but what is he saying? That, hey, the thrones were cast down. It says, "And the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like a fiery flame, and his wheels as a burning fire. A fiery stream issued and came forth from before him. Thousands and thousands ministered unto him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened." So this is the time of the Gentiles being fulfilled, man. The time in which Israel will rule, the time in which the Heavenly Father will establish a rulership on this earth, which is why verse 13 says, "And I saw in the night vision, and behold, one like unto the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. And there was given unto him dominion and glory and a kingdom, that all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion, which shall not pass away, in his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed." You see that, man? Verse 18, it says, "But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever." Hey, so there you go, man. The time of the Gentiles being fulfilled goes hand in hand with what? The Lord returning. And that goes hand in hand with what? The Israelites returning to that land, because as we just read in prophecy, the Israelites would not be back in that land. The heathens would be in that land. The bastard would be in that land until when the time of the Gentiles are fulfilled. You see, we're waiting on the Lord to gather us and return us unto that land, man. This is Revelation chapter 2 and verse 9, and it reads, I know thy works in tribulation and poverty, but thou art rich. So the true Israelites, the true Jews, would be in a state of impoverished, man. They'd be in a state of mourning. They would be in a state of what? Not being rich, but what? Rich in spirit. If they're impoverished but rich, what does that mean, man? We're rich in spirit, and it's going to explain it. It says, and I know the blasphemy of them that say they are Jews and are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. Right? Chapter 3 and verse 9. Further expounding upon it. It says, behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are Jews and are not, but do lie. Behold, I will make them to come up and worship at thy feet, and to know that I loved thee. Hey, so there's a bastard dwelling there, man. There's people here that say they are Jews and are not. Right? They've taken on our role on this planet. And that role is what? The rulers of this earth, man. They've sat in the throne just like the previous lesson that we did. They took the throne of the Heavenly Father and sat in it, man. That's why you really can't speak out against them. I won't be surprised when this video gets a strike. Lord willing it don't, but I won't be surprised if it does, man. Because what? You can't speak against those who are in power. And clearly those who are in power, as we're reading, are not the true Israelites, because the true Israelites would be in a state of being impoverished, man. Would be in a state of what? Not having power. Not until what? The Lord comes and delivers them, man. That's what the word salvation goes into. Deliverance from the molestation of thine enemies, man. And our enemies have put their hands upon us. You see? So we're crying out unto the Lord to deliver us and to save us. And that's exactly what he's going to do, man. Going back to the book of Isaiah. Chapter 11. We can start at verse 11. It says, and it will come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again a second time to recover the remnant of his people. So when was the first time? In the land of ancient Egypt, man. But he's going to do it a second time to recover the remnant of his people. And where are they going to be? Which shall be left from Assyria and from Egypt and from Pathros and from Cush and from Elam and from Shinar and from Hamath and from the islands of the sea. So they'll be scattered throughout all nations, man. When did this take place? Verse 12, when did the Lord return and deliver the Israelites? I would like to know, man. I would like to know where the Lord is, where he was, and how it happened. Because it's news to me. Just like it is to everybody, man. Verse 12, it says, and he shall set up an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Israel, and gather together the dispersed of Judah from the four corners of the earth. So we've been scattered, man. We've been scattered by what? Slavery. We've been made to build up these nations, all right, as we are what? The bottom of these nations, man. Verse 13, it says, the envy also of Ephraim shall depart, and the adversaries of Judah shall be cut off. So that envy between the tribes, all right, is going to end, man. Between you true Israelites who have been scattered throughout the earth, man. Many of which winding up here in the Americas, right, taking on the persona or the name of so-called Negroes, Latinos, or Native Americans, when really we're the Israelites of God, man. And we've been scattered not just within these parts, but throughout all nations, man. All right, which is why verse 14 says what? But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines towards the west, and shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. So when did this happen, man? When did the nations, all right, bow down and a theocracy was set up with the Israelites ruling? It never happened. You see, we could expound upon it in Malachi, the 4th chapter, man, or Micah, the 4th chapter, all right, which goes into our rule, man, and how all nations are going to bow to us and learn the ways of the Lord from us, man. We're going to be priests and ministers unto this earth, man. We're going to be the connecting point between the planet Earth and the Heavenly Father. You see, this clearly did not take place. You see, Hebrews, the 8th chapter, the law going forth out of Zion, the laws being written within him, no man having to teach his neighbor. None of this has happened, man. There's still people. You see a Jehovah's Witness out there on these street corners, man, knocking on doors. So they're still trying to teach people their neighbor. They're still trying to figure out the Lord, man. They're still trying to figure out righteousness. You see? Let me go ahead and grab another precept. This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 14. And verse 2, it says, "For I will gather all nations against Jerusalem to battle." Yeah, it sounds similar to the prophecy of the Valley of Jehoshaphat, man, or Yahweh-Shaphat. All right, when did this happen, man? You see, these things have to take place in order for Israel to be restored, man. You see, the so-called Jewish nation has a lot of explaining to do. It says, "The city shall be taken, the houses rifled, the women ravished, and half of the city shall go forth into captivity, and the residue of the people shall be cut off from the city." Right? So, you know, we read a little bit about this, you see, but going on, what's going to follow up with it, which is what the world has not seen, which is what we have not seen, is the Heavenly Father's recompense for these doings, man. This is verse 12. It says, "And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord shall smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet." If this happened, why haven't we been made aware of it, man? When did this take place? The scriptures even talk about how we're going to forget what happened in Egypt because we're going to remember this second deliverance that's going to take place, man. We're still talking about that first Egyptian deliverance, man. The world is still talking. They have a whole movie, The Prince of Egypt, man. So this second deliverance still has yet to take place. We are still in our captivity, man. Clearly. Because those who are in rule are the captors. And they've taken on our identity and our persona as the connection point between God and earth, man. Which is why they've set up all these false religions and they deceive you people. They've used religion, all right, to fatten their pockets and to keep you people in a place of deceit, man. Telling you the law is done away with, but don't sin. You people are just completely bugged out, man. You know, and as we all were at one point. But the Lord is causing the Spirit to return to us, man. Which means that we're vastly approaching this time of what? Our enemies sitting at our feet. Our enemies being put back in their proper place, man. It says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. And it shall come to pass in that day that a great multitude, a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them, and they shall hold every one on the hand of his neighbor, and on the hand, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor. And Judah also shall fight at Jerusalem, and the wealth of the heathen round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver and apparel in great abundance. So the Heavenly Father is going to bring us back to our land and what, man? Glorify us, man. It's verse 15, it says, and that land in Israel is in all sorts of cahoots today, man. All right, it's still in all sorts of cahoots. So clearly, all right, this has not happened. All right, we could just go on and on and on through prophecy to prove this, man. It says, verse 15, "And so shall the plague of the horse and of the mule and of the camel and of the ass and of the beasts that shall be in these tents as this plague." It says, "And it shall come to pass that every one that is left of all the nations which came up against Jerusalem shall go up from year to year to worship the King, the Lord of armies, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles." So again, when did this take place, man? This cuts a lot of these false breakdowns in the world, man. It proves the point that the people in Israel today aren't the true Israelites, because when they return, this will take place, right? The Heavenly Father is gonna bring vengeance upon our enemies, and he's going to return us to our land, glorify us, and cause what? The heathens to come up and learn of our ways. No longer are we going to be worshiping your stupid holidays and things of that nature, man. You're going to be learning the ways of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. That's what's going to be established. That's what's going to be made mandatory on this planet, man. You see? Going on, it says, shall come up year to year to worship the King, the Lord of armies, and to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. Hey, so you're going to have to follow the ways of righteousness, man. You're going to have to follow our ways. You see, this also cuts Christianity in the second coming of the Lord, talking about how there's going to be some kind of, pre-tribulation rapture and all this crazy stuff, man, and that all the people are going to be burning here for all of eternity. Well, clearly they're going to be in subjection, actually, man. That's not going to take place. The way the Christianity's breakdowns are wild, man. And again, it's because it was set up by this government to captivate the minds of you people, man. Keep you in a state of captivity mentally. Verse 17, it says, and it shall be that whoso will not come up from all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King. Salaki, I read that already. Verse 18, it says, and if the family of Egypt go not up and come not, that have no rain, there shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite the heathen that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. This shall be the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of the nations that come not up to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. You see that, man? So Israel is going to be on a state of power, man. Revelation chapter 2. In verse 26, it says, and he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. As the vessels of a potter shall they be broken into shivers, even as I received of my Father. You see that, man? So again, this is not taking place. You see, you can't lie with prophecy, man. Prophecy is like the bone structure of these scriptures. This is Jeremiah chapter 30. And verse 7, it says, the last for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. You see that, man? So we got the time of Jacob's trouble coming. That still has yet to come. You see? Verse 9, it says, but they shall serve the Lord their power, and David their king, whom I will raise up unto them. Therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob, saith the Lord, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be at rest, and be quiet, and none shall make them afraid. So again, when did this happen? Israel hasn't been saved by the Lord, man. And in fact, they're the modern land of Israel today, with these aliens living there, are going through all sorts of chaos living there, man. Going on verse 16, it says, therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and they that preyed upon thee shall I give to a prey. Hey, so when was there a captivity caused, slavery caused to those that came against the Israelites, man? Never. Especially if you're speaking about you so-called Jewish people today, man. That never took place. Verse 17, it says, for I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith the Lord, because they called thee an outcast, saying, this is Zion, who no man seeketh after. Who's calling the Jewish an outcast? Who's calling the Jewish the not the people of the Lord, as it's written in the book of Hosea? Who's told them this, man? They've never been called not the people of the Lord. They've been called the people of the Lord, even to the point that the damn Balfour Declaration, the people of this earth brought them to that land for them, man. Why? Because they were setting something up, man. A power structure. Verse 18, it says, and thus saith the Lord, behold, I will bring again the captivity of Jacob's tents. When were they in captivity, man? When were they enslaved? You may say, oh, well, there was the thing with Adolf Hitler. Well, when were they enslaved, man? They weren't enslaved by Adolf Hitler. It says, and have mercy on his dwelling places, and the city shall be builded upon her own heap, and the palace shall remain after the manner thereof. Hey, so again, man, these Jewish folks have a lot of explaining to do, man. They're not the true Israelites. Clearly, prophecy states that, and we could go on and on with many more like scriptures to prove it, man. But I believe the point has been made. I'm going to go ahead and close it up here. Lord willing, this is edifying, man. Until next time, this is Brother Gar. I'm going to once again give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, which is the original Hebrew, the Paleo Hebrew, known as in Israel today as the dead language, because they do not use the true Hebrew. They use a different dialect with matres lectiones added to it. All right, it is not the true language, man. All right. In fact, we call it Yiddish Hebrew. You look that up, man. Look up what Yiddish Hebrew is. All right. I'd like to give double honors unto the elders and the apostles at GMS Great Millstone, and a sincere peace, love, blessing, salutation unto all those of you hopeful, faithful, potential, purpose, elect, doing the best to make the calling of your election sure, man. Lord, one is edifying. Until next time, this is Brother Gar, Shalom, and Abba Ball.